A death by 1,000 strings, or in this case, around 4-ish. Inspired by the art and effect of this card, as well as this beautiful image popular some years ago around the internet, comes this deck tech for Arbaaz Mir, the Moon Knight. When deck building, I like to begin by defining what the deck is trying to achieve, and for this deck, the plan is simple. Play a lot of synergistic historic cards to trigger Arbaaz Mir and find ways to replace said cards. How are we going to do this? Well, I have divided the cards in 8 different categories that seem important for the deck. First, we have Mana Acceleration. Your Soul Ring and Arcane Signet are here, Golden Iron Mirror as well as Ornithopter of Paradise to give us colored mana. Joyra's Familiar will make all historic spells cheaper, and Solemn will give us a land when entering. Notable mentions are Glowing, Dwarf Emissary, which will give us pretty much a treasure per turn as we play mostly historic spells, and Descent into Avernus, which the damage will be mitigated by the life gain our commander provides us. Next, for card advantage we have Esper Sentinel and Archivist of Ogma, which will both draw us cards for actions our opponents make, and Esper Sentinel also synergizes well with the deck, being a historic card. Birth of Militis gives us a land in hand instead, but it doesn't ramp up our mana. Ichor Wellspring will give us a card entering the battlefield or touching our graveyard. Loran of the Third Path, Fall of the Civilization, and Love Song of Night and Day will also give cards to an opponent, but you can control which opponent to make sure you are the one who benefits the most. Dareti will let you choose which cards can help you and have useful cards on the graveyard. Virtue of Courage is pretty good here, as for each trigger from Arbaaz Mir, we can dig through our deck even deeper and cast as much as possible. For interaction, we have the usual suspects: Swords to Plowshares, Abrade, Reprieve, Chaos Warp, Generous Gift, Stroke of Midnight. This patch will be most of the time online as we have a lot of artifacts on the deck. Portable Hole can get rid of low-cost powerful cards as well as trigger our commander. Rip Apart is a pet card for me. It can remove a wide variety of problems on the field. Our fourth category is board wipes. We are looking for asymmetrical effects, such as Urza's Renus Blast, which gives us the advantage to exile most of our opponent's creatures and very few of our own, and Knight of the Doctor, which will also bring back a legendary creature from our graveyard, which leads to our next category. Graveyard Recursion. These are to return cards from our graveyard, either massively, with Ascent from Avernus, Gerard, Wearlight Hero, or Gerard's Hourglass Pendant. The rest will help us trigger it once per turn, such as Goblin Welder, Goblin Engineer, Layla Hassan, Loran Disciple of History, Sevin's Reclamation, Sun Titan, and Teshar Ancestor's Apostle. For the next category, it's one that I like to call Strategy Synergy. These cards are here to enable the main strategy of our commander to keep on going. In this case, Memnite, Ornithopter, Phyrexian Walker, and Rockrak cost 0, which means free triggers for our commander. Yoshimaru and Gimli will get huge just for playing the deck. Rainforest Ronin returns to your hand so you can cast it multiple times and discard it if you need another card. Reckless Handling will search for an artifact you need, and if it or any other artifact touches the graveyard, we can retrieve it with our graveyard recursions as well as deal 2 damage to each opponent. Circuit Mender and Filigree Familiar work in tandem with graveyard recursion as well as the next category. Blink or Flicker, cards that make other cards leave the battlefield and enter again, such as Livio, Oathsworn Sentinel, Far Traveler, Felidar Guardian, Teleportation Circle, Conjurer's Closet, and the Eternal Wanderer. While there are cards that will blink massively, such as Abdel Adrian, Lezel's Acrobatics, and Golden Argosy. Lastly, payoffs are cards that will help to close out our game. Reckless Fireweaver and Molten Gatekeeper will also deal damage by enters the battlefield effects. Street Urchin will let us have one additional way to ping for damage. Tai Joaquin will let us pay mana to deal massive damage. Thorbrand will triplicate our damage. War of the Last Alliance will let us search either for Tai Joaquin or Thorbrand. And if we have a lot of creatures, we can close the game granting double strike to all our team. Last but not least, we have Airflux Reservoir. With all the life gain that our commander provides us, we can definitely pay 50 life to take out of our opponents. The deck has 29 lands total, 5 plains and 5 mountains, and most of the rest are historic lands that will trigger our commander. Well, if you count the 5 MDFCs from Modern Horizons 3 that are on the deck, which personally I do, it will leave the deck with 34 lands. In conclusion, this is my deck tech for Arbaaz Mir, which seeks to trigger the effect as much as possible. As you can see, the deck is around $200, which is not a budget deck, but also it's not on the expensive side as a lot of deck techs can be. In fact, leave on the comments below which cards will you have added and if they are budget or not. Thank you for watching and we'll see each other on the next video.